I had the opportunity to drive this beautiful 2025 BMW X1 M Sport for 2 weeks during our vacation to Italy. And this entry-level subcompact BMW has a lot of pros, but also a bit too many flaws, which haven't been covered in other reviews here on YouTube. And if you watch until the end of this video, I will tell you guys why I like this a bit more than the Audi Q3 or the Range Rover Velar that I've also tested. This is Cars of Medicine, where I review and discuss luxury and exotic cars. If you guys enjoy that sort of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. So I am changing up my review style a little bit. Instead of boring you guys with stats and facts you could easily look up online, I'm going to tell you what I loved and hated about this 2025 BMW X1. The newer generation BMW X1 gets even closer to looking like a baby X3, and you can see the updated headlight design and additional body styling when compared to the prior years. The styling for the 2025 model has a more aggressive kidney grille, beautiful LED headlights, and a very sporty rear roofline. I also love the integrated door handles here. This seemed to be a modern trend across a lot of brands now. Oh, and don't forget the illuminated M badge when you open the car door at night. Overall, the exterior of the X1 looks expensive, sporty, and matches well with the rest of the cars in their lineup. Inside the cabin of the BMW X1, I felt like I had a ton of space as a driver, and my seats were adjustable to my liking. Oh, by the way, they are also massage seats. And my wife is a stickler for good seats, but she said that they were very comfortable and they offered a ton of lumbar support. One con that we did have with the interior was the sound system. Music sounded a bit too thin, too airy. We were trying to play around with the settings. Nonetheless, the base sound system, I would not recommend it. If you guys have the option, I would definitely go upgrade sound system.
John, if you get a ticket from any of this, I swear to God, you two better pay for it.
I did appreciate all of the nice touches inside the cabin, from the M-stitch seatbelts to the materials and finishes on the doors and cabin. BMW did a stellar job in here. They offer all of the controls here in this floating bridge area near the armrest, including your drive mode selector, a button for hazard lights, and additional volume controls. You also have wireless car charging and a heads-up display. The infotainment touchscreen seemed integrated into the dash and was snappy in terms of responsiveness. Plus, BMW has a very good backup camera and parking aid to help you seamlessly maneuver the X1 with an upgraded tech package. However, we had numerous issues with the infotainment system, which was also a problem that some other people had mentioned online. For instance, our phones kept having a hard time connecting to Apple CarPlay across the almost 2 weeks that we had this vehicle. Another unfortunate reality was our model did not have that panoramic sunroof, which is an option. So if you guys are in the market, I would definitely look out for the panoramic sunroof as an upgrade to your X1. As a rear seat passenger, I was impressed with the amount of legroom and headroom offered by the BMW X1. Although there weren't any little pouches or that little cubby on the back of the seats for storage space, we did have storage inside the door and center console. There's also 2 small vents in the back seat for the backseat passengers and some USB-C chargers. I would not try to fit 5 adults back here, but 2 adults can sit comfortably for extended periods of time, which is impressive for a subcompact SUV. Towards the rear of the BMW X1, you have an electronic power liftgate and some decent cargo capacity for a few small suitcases, although nothing really impressive here. I also did like that the car automatically opens and closed as I approached or walked away from the X1. Now for the driving. Personally have had a prior history of driving the BMW 5 Series and 7 Series, and both my wife and I drive Audis on a daily basis. This is the xDrive 20D model. So it is all-wheel drive. It's a 4-cylinder mild hybrid diesel engine producing 214 horsepower. It goes 0 to 60 in about 7.1 seconds here in Italy. For us Americans, BMW offers the xDrive 28i and the M35i, which has a very respectable 313 horsepower. It goes from 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. Long story short, get the M35i. I will say that the diesel was cool because the tank of gas was like 750 miles on one tank, and we were getting like 40 miles per gallon, something like that. Then again, fuel in Italy was pretty expensive. For us stateside, I would definitely spring for the sportier model. Why is that? Our particular X1 was not very enjoyable to drive, despite there being 3 different drive modes. They had a personalized mode, an eco-friendly mode, and a sport mode. Of course, my preference was to drive in sport mode, but it was way too stiff. The dual clutch transmission did a very good job of shifting. Car does have paddles on the steering wheel, which is a nice touch and, always fun to use. At speed, the BMW X1 did not feel as planted and stable as other BMWs or many Audis that I've driven. And while the road noise was kept to a minimum in terms of comfort, there were a ton of perceived bumps in the road, and I did not think the suspension was doing a great job. I would say that it was a very, very stiff ride. And, my wife and I were like, wow, this car, like, there's a ton of bumps. Meanwhile, we go back home and we drive, our run of the mill regular Audis, and they're smooth, comfortable. This X1, I'm telling you, very bumpy. But we did get to experiment with a lot of mountainous, windy roads, and the car was very responsive. It was agile. It felt really good with the steering. I did not have any problems with that. I would say that the car handled the roads fine, but it was not very exciting to drive. And this could partially be because I had the mild hybrid diesel option, so take that with a grain of salt as well. This is how I would rate the BMW X1 overall. I would say that the BMW X1 would be a great commuter car or a car for a small family. I would think it's good if you want to get into the BMW brand and you don't necessarily want to spend a ton of money on an X3 or an X5. I also think it does a good job challenging the BMW X3 while also coming in at less money. Thing is, with this car, especially if you start adding in all those packages, upgrades, the trims, this particular model was the M Sport trim. If you start adding all of that in, you can get a quite hefty price tag, but it is kind of worth it, especially with what else is out there on the market. BMW does a stellar job with this X1. I think the interior and exterior of this BMW beats out on the Audi Q3, but I actually prefer how that Audi drove, and the BMW was also more comfortable than the Range Rover Velar, but I think the Velar handled way better on the harsh road conditions and also didn't get abused by simple bumps in the road the BMW X1 does. Before you guys click off, if you found this video helpful, please consider hitting that like button down below. It really helps the channel out so much. It really helps us get seen by more people on YouTube. All of these car reviews are done with using my own money. I don't get press cars. I don't have dealership relationships. A lot of time, effort, and money goes into sourcing these cars and making reviews. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider looking at some of my other car reviews. And as always, stay safe out there. Have a great day. Bye-bye.